Yo, what's up? It's your boy T-Dubbie Solo, and tonight we're going to talk about the dry rack. Now, I got a couple people comments. They sending me emails about they wanted to purchase a dry rack and how to use it. Now, the first question is, what is a dry rack? Now, this is a dry rack right here. It's pretty much a power speaker optimizer. That's what it says right here, power speaker optimizer. What it's got inside of this unit, it's got a limiter, subharmonics, it's got EQ, feedback detector, it's got setup, and it's flexible. You can do a lot of things with this unit. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And it will do this. Now, here's the main screen. And the first step when you purchase a dry rack, you have to understand what you purchase and why you're using it. So you're not just getting it because people tell you to get it. It's a good idea to have this if you're dealing with power speakers. Now, if you watch my other videos before I make this one, you can also use this dry rack for passive use. Now, so with the dry rack, it's got 3 sets. You got your inputs, you got your main outputs for your tops, and you got your subs. You can hook up to 2 subs. It can also be used as mono as well, just like this one. So yeah, that's the beauty of the dry rack. Basically, the dry rack saves you a lot of space. Let's just say, you see how I got all this going on down here. Let's just say if this was an EQ, a compressor, and a feedback detector, all this will combine into one rack unit, pretty much. Which is really nice, you know. And you got some people who have multiple equipment get confused when they get the dry rack as far as they thought they understand, but it's more than that. It's because they so used to having multiple racks. Like I said, EQ, compressor, feedback eliminator, whatever they will have in the past, and people on the downside, they want everything that this dry rack can do all in one unit, which is the beauty of it. You know, it's more efficient, it's less space, and it's just right on, dead on, pretty much. And it's perfect for power speaker because that's what this unit designed for. And like I said, you can use it for passive as well. You just gotta have 2 amplifiers. You gotta have one amplifier for your mains, and then you gotta have another amplifier for your subs. Same purpose. And so, you know, on the back of this unit, it's got 3 sets of XLRs only. There is no 1/4 inch and there is no RCA. Now, the reason why they would use XLR, because it sounds better, it's way better, and it's well balanced than 1/4 inch. And well, of course, you won't be able to balance with an RCA because there's only 2 pins. A 1/4 inch can have a 3-pin, which is, it will have a tip, sleeves, and a ring, and the XLR will be the X, L, and R. So this is better when it comes to using XLR. This is XLR only. So, but it also gives you option on the back of this unit. It's got a ground lift on the back, and it also have a -10 and +10 on the input, not on the outputs. You would get that if you change the setting on the back of this, whether it's -10 or +4, to gives you an option of attention of volume, I should say. I got mine set to -10 just to get more headroom. You can have it +4, but then you got to be careful when you're really pushing this unit, because you can do some damage with your speakers or whatever you got hooked up to it. You can do some damage only if you know what you're doing. Now, for the rookies that get these unit, like I said, understand what you're getting and how to use it. Now, my best advice to you guys that never used a dry rack before, you can either watch my video so I can show you how to use this dry rack, or you can look in the manual, I can't say it right, your manual book that come with this unit, like instructions, and it will tell you how to use this unit, how it needs to be hooked up, and how it's wired. So, for example, I mean, if I were to start something new, if I can remember how to use this unit, you start with the wizard, and you would hold down the button setup. You hold it down when you first purchase it. You hold it down, and it will take you to this page. You are now in the system setup wizard. You press the next page button, it will take you to advanced, and it will ask you, what is your setup? Are you doing it in stereo? And if you turn this data wheel, and it would have said mono. Now, that's for your mains. I got 2 mains, so that would be in stereo. You hit the next page button, and it will ask you what kind of speakers you got, such as JBLs, whatever brand you got. I mean, I can turn it. It's got Behringer. It's got DD Tech. It's got HK Audio. Never heard of that before. I'm gonna have to look that up. It's got Mackeys, PVs, QSCs, and if you can't find your brand that the speaker you use, that's okay. And that's the reason for that. You go to customize. Let's just say if you don't have any other speaker that this unit has as a preset, you go to customize, you hit the next page button, and it will ask you if you have any subs or not, whether if you have 1 or you have 2, or if you have none. So, but then it also gives you a list of subwoofer that you had or if you don't have, and it also tell you over here too. Here's the display. Tells you what kind of speakers, how many speakers, what brand is it, and so forth. And let's just say if you don't have any of this brand as this unit have for a preset, you keep scrolling until it says customize. And if you press down, well, actually, you hit the next page button, and now it will tell you for your main speakers how did you this will tell you how you set up your mains. Let's just say right here, main speakers level, adjust speaker level as shown. It's telling you adjust your speakers at that level. Since it's customized, what you would do is you would go to your top. Actually, let me turn this around. Okay, you will go over here, and it will tell you to turn your tops all the way up like this, and it will tell you to do so. You turn it up just like that, go back to the screen, and then you hit the next page button, and then it's going to ask you for your subs. Set your subs like that. You go over here. Of course, it's already set up. Let's just start over. Say if it looked like that, you would center it like so. Then you come back over here and you press the next page button, and now you just created a new preset. And you press the data wheel down, and now you just made a new preset. Now it's going to ask you to hook up the microphone. Now if you purchase a PX like I got, it comes with the microphone for free. But if you have a PA or PA Plus, I believe it's separated. You have to purchase the microphone separated. I don't know, but mine came for free. So what you would do is, it would come, let me put my shoes on the floor. What you would do, it would look like this. It will come in the bag. You open it up. It will look like this when I purchased it. And you will have a microphone stand that would screw into this bottom right here. And once you set your microphone up, a lot of people said it's best to set your microphone back between the two speakers 25 feet. I believe that's what they say. And just had it pointed. I'm not quite sure what height. I'm gonna have to do some more research on that, which height to set the microphone as it's pointing between the two tops and the two bottom. And once you hook that up, you will hit, you know, it will tell you to once you hook your microphone up and get the stand going, you hook it up through here and then you press the button to turn it on. Now I can't do it tonight because it involves with paint noise and it's going to be loud, and I can't demonstrate that. So I'm gonna put a link right here, so that way you can click on it right now and it will take you to it, and it will show you how to use the paint noise from there. So, and then I'm gonna also put another video about the main and the sub balance, as I just showed you right now, which is on another video. If you see it right now, go ahead and click on it and it will show you from there. But for right now, this is as far as I can go, so I'm gonna hit preset just to exit. And of course it will say warning, system levels not balanced. That's okay, just hit the next page button and skip it. If I can get out of here. Hold on for a second. So there. Now, the next question you probably asking yourself, why do people need a dry rack? Okay, there's so many people going around saying if you happen to walk in Guitar Center or any other store and you would ask the salesman about this unit, or the salesman happens to come up to you and say, hey, can I help you? And you might say, hey, I'm looking for some good speakers. And they might ask you, are you looking for powered or passive? Now, I'm quite sure a lot of DJs nowadays are going with speakers with amplifiers built into it nowadays. You don't see too many passive these days anymore, because people are using power now. Now, if you were to pick a brand, there's so many brands out there that are power, such as JBLs, like mine's. Well, mine's are older version, so you're not going to see speakers like these anymore. If you're going to see speakers like these again, you're going to have to either go on eBay or something to get one of these. And I'm surprised these speakers right here still sells. And that's an older generation. It's G2, not a G1. G2 is better than G1 because this is a 400 watt total. 300 for the woofer, 100 for the tweeter, 400 watts. Very loud, and I'll never have mine set up like that because it's so loud. Every time I DJ, I normally have it straight up just to be more advanced, but if I'm at home, it will look like this halfway because it's just that loud, and then you're in the room. But if you're in a bigger place, most people will have it straight up, so it's more advanced when you're taking control of the volume on your mixer or your dry rack, and like I said, if you use it right. So I'm just going to leave it like that for now. But if you're out there shopping, getting power speaker or passive, but most people go with power speakers anyway because it's less equipment to carry, it's lightweight. Don't get me wrong, they do make power speakers that got a little weight into it. It just depends on the magnetic size, you know, and so forth. But let's say you went shopping to get some power speaker. Now, most salesmen will advise you to get a dry rack. You might not know what it is, but like I just explained it when I started this video, ain't nothing but a speaker optimizer. It's got an EQ, compressor limiter, subharmonics. It's so many choices in there that you can use this thing that is fairly well, and it will get you going. It protects your speakers. It makes your speakers sound more efficient. It saves you a lot of space and a lot of money, and of course a lot of time. But if you don't agree to buy the drive rack, that's okay. You can go to the old-fashioned way where you're going to have a rack that will look just like mine, where you got an EQ, compressor limiter on one section, and you will have a feedback eliminator on another section, and so forth. Another amplifier, number 1, number 2 down here. You're going to be carrying a lot of rack just to be doing what this be doing. The good thing about that is everything is right in front of you. You can control it instantly without doing all this button press and all that. But the downside is so much going on. A lot of people tend to get confused. I mean, I don't. I'm just saying. I guess that's why people downsize. This is not very bad. Once you get, it gets confusing at first, but once you get used to it, it's not very bad. Just take your time and, you know, read a book that came with this and understand what you're using. There's nothing wrong with getting this. If you're getting this, you're at the right road. But if you feel like it's just too much or you're not ready for it, it's understandable. You don't have to purchase it. But if you were to ask my opinion, I would advise you to get this. Now, most newer power speakers got limiters built into it, and that's okay. Because then all you have to do is take that and run it straight to that. And there's no dry rack needed. I'm just saying. The new EVs got limiters built into it. And it's got preset EQs built to it as well. They only got it in 12s and 15s. Now mine's don't. Mine's it's got a output number 1. That's the main volume. It controls everything. It's got an input and it's got a link at the bottom. Here's my bass, my triple. It's got an EQ in it. These two right here. And the other two is pretty much input number 1. Well, actually it's 2 and 3. So I can hook 2 1/4 inches down here. And this is XLR in, XLR out. Now the subs ain't nothing but actually this is a combination right here. I don't know if you can see it. You can hook a 1/4 inch in there or XLR through this, but the rest of them is just straight XLRs for this unit here. I know it's very dark, but it's the best way I can do it. So yeah, and of course you got your options down here if you didn't have a dry rack at the time, or if you happen to have a power speaker with no high pass features in it. This is a good sub to use. Not only it's got ground lift and phrase, but it also got a high pass 80 hertz and up. So if you have a speaker that don't have a high pass, this is a perfect sub. There's many subs out there that has these features. Some of these subs will give you at least 3 different high pass, which will give you 80, 100, and I believe 120. This can only give you 80. So the more high pass, the more efficient. But the thing is, you're really losing a lot of bass if you put too much high pass into it. I like a little bass on my top. You know, that's just how I do it. But some people want to put their high pass all the way to 100 or all the way up. Your main's just going to be just full. It's just going to be mids. You know, you want to get a little bass of your mains, so your sub is not doing all the work. And not only that, your music's going to sound hollow, because you're leaving a lot of empty space between the tops and the subs. So don't put too much of a high pass, unless if you want to go all the way up to 120, you're gonna have to make that subwoofer go from 120 and down to finish that frequency. Most people tend to mess that up. That's why when I was listening to it, there were certain frequencies within the song was missing. When I was listening to it, it just sounded like it's way too separated. So just kind of keep everything in between the highs, mids, and lows. Just kind of keep it in between, so that way you get that full range sound along with the subwoofer. That's what I'm saying. So yeah. So yeah, but that's what a dry rack does. It does absolutely everything. Like I said, subharmonics, compressor limiter, EQ. This is to destroy feedback. You can store it, preset it, next page, or actually next page, previous page, set up, whatever. Here's your input meter. Your output meter for the mains. And your subwoofer meter. And of course, here's your best friend. Let me tell you real quick about this limiter real quick, in case one of y'all are new to my videos. Here's my good tip. I'm quite sure other DJ know this, whether they know this or not. And I'm going to explain this real quick about this limiter. Let's just say, okay, this limiter is turned off. It's not active. Leave it off. Just play it normal. Whether you apply EQ or not, I advise you to do it flat. If you're testing your speakers doing music before you even apply any EQ, any compressor take over. I start off flat for safety reasons. So it's more advanced when you want to add EQ later. Let's just say if you're playing a song or a basic song. Just a subwoofer, for example. If this light on here, actually right here underneath it, let's just say if you turn it up, keep turning the knob up, and let's say it start turning red right there. Now, if it's solid red, if it stop here at a solid red, back it down a little bit, let the red light flash. Don't be afraid, just let the red light flash. Go back, and if you were to hit the compressor limiter button, actually hit it again, it will look like this. Right now I'm switched off. Turn your limiter on. You press in the data wheel, and press it again, and it will. And this is your setting right here, your threshold. It goes all the way up to 20, which is normal. Now, in order for this limiter on the sub channel to kick in, now, as you turn your data wheel to the left, do it slowly, and watch the light on your subs for the red lights to go away. So let's just say red light, red light, red light, red light, red light, gone. Stop right there. And the reason why I would tell you this, because you optimizing your subs. Some people would turn their subs all the way up and then it would be solid red, and then they go back and they adjust it, and that's okay. But what you're missing out is you're missing out on the optimum, I don't know how to explain it. You will miss out on optimum performance of your subwoofer and your mains if you were to turn them all the way up solid red and then adjusting this. Like I said, that's okay to do it. I would do this on the flashing red, so that way every time the bass hit and I set the threshold right, this light, the limiter light, will go off. Same thing with the mains. It will go off to the beat of the music, and as you look to your subs, the red light should go away. And you leave it alone. Don't change it. Don't do nothing. Leave it alone. If you want more volume, like I said, you can always go back in here and hit setup, and then you pressing your data wheel twice, and now this controls your sub and so forth. You can add it, take away. Same thing with the tops. And to get to the top, you hit setup. Actually, you hit the next page button, hit it again. Now this line becomes solid. This is your mains, and here's your crossover. So it can go all the way till you don't hear nothing. You can, and that's another thing I want to explain about why people use such a high pass. Be careful when you're doing this, when high passing your main, because like I said, if you high pass it way too much, or you just think it sound good and you high pass it way too much, what's going to happen is you leaving out an empty space of your EQ spectrum. This is not good, because when you play music, you got too much of a high pass and your lows is just sitting there. It's best to, if you think it sound good, let's say if you leave your speakers to, let's say if you like 150. Now to get to the subs, you hit the next page button. This will light up. This is for one end. Hit the next page button. Now it's 100. kind of make them look like this, so that your subwoofer can take over this gap, and then you got a lot of bass frequency going on there. Don't make it look like this. I don't understand why people do this, because you're leaving a lot of empty space and it just don't sound right. It makes your music sound hollow. You're leaving a hole right there. So just kind of work between these two to your desired sound. And not only that, I mean, you pretty much affecting a lot of sounds when you're dealing with EQ, because EQ is pretty much the heart of the music. That's what gives it its energy, its character. So be careful when you set this up. So, all right, turn her off. My battery's about to die. This is the longest video I ever make, but like I said, I hope this is helpful. Like I said, I'm sorry I can't do everything at once, but this is why I send you my link on the screen, so you can check out the relationship between clipping limiter and using the pink noise and all that earlier, a couple minutes ago. So that's what a dry rack does. It's very good to have, because it's just more efficient. It's got better option. It's a one rack unit. You ain't got to carry a whole lot of rack like this studio I got going on down here. All you would need is power, this thing, and of course your wireless microphone. I mean, that's all I take. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upgrade, which is I'm gonna get rid of this switch and I'm gonna buy me a Monster Pro 2500 or 900, because I want some clean power, so it keeps my AC stable and clean, especially when I'm dealing with subwoofer. And you're dealing with digital, such as this. You know, NS7 is digital. Of course, the motor is analog, but digital laptop. These amplifiers, I don't believe they are digital. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I know the JBLs are not digital amplifiers. And the reason why I would say this, and there's another reason that I'm kind of skeptical about digital amplifiers, is because when you push the digital amplifiers for long periods of time, they tend to get distorted. Now, a lot of people say that. I haven't owned one myself, but I sort of believe it, because like a computer, if the laptop gets hot, it freezes up. Now, if this was a digital amplifier, it would sound distorted. It might sound good within an hour or an hour 30 minutes. It depends what brand you get and how the manufacturer made the amplifier. I'd rather stick with analog, because it's distorted free. It's very clean and very efficient to me. So the subwoofers, I don't know if they're digital amplifiers. I believe they're analog too, because they don't say it's digital. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna look it up. But I know the JBLs are not digital. For the subwoofer, I'm gonna have to look it up, and I'm praying that it's not digital, because it is. I'm like stuck with them, and then I'm just gonna have to deal with it. But I love them. They do sound great, and I never have any problems with them. So yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video so I can put the speaker back on top of this and hook it back up and make sure everything's worked correctly. And I just want to thank you guys for sticking around this long, hearing me blah 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 about the dry rack and all that. So there you go. Now you understand why people buy dry racks, whether it's an active speaker such I got right here, or it's a passive. Same purpose. You know, what sounds good to you, and how do you use it? It's the question for you. Talk to you later.